Hi there, boys and girls. Welcome back. I hope you had some fun last week getting outside to play to work on your cardiorespiratory endurance. So this week, we mentioned we are going to talk about balance. And I want you guys to show me your best balancing skills. So I have a fun activity where we're going to make different letters with our body. But first, let's talk a little bit about balance. So when we balance, we need to use our muscles so we can hold a position. We don't want to wiggle all over. We want to be nice and strong. We can hold a position without falling over. Balance is just like everything we do in here. The more we practice, the better we're going to get. And we're going to try some different balances today. Now, if you look, right now I'm in a 2-point balance. We went over the different 1 point, 2 point, 3 point. What it means is that's how many parts I have touching the floor. So right now I have 2 feet. So I have a 2-point balance. And how do I make this even sturdier of a position? How do I make this a stronger position? I can take my base of support, which is my feet, and I can make it wider. If I make it wider, I'm a little bit sturdier. I'm not going to wiggle around as much. Okay, so keep that in mind when we're trying different balances today. How do I make this a little bit harder, more of a challenge? I make my base of support smaller. Maybe I go to a 1-point balance. Maybe I go up on my toes, so it's smaller point of contact with the floor. So that's how we make it a little bit more challenging. So let's practice some balance skills. I have some letters here. You're probably wondering what I'm holding. I have some letters here that I'm going to show you. So for example, who can tell me what letter I have here? Awesome, that is a Y. We're going to use our bodies, and I'll hold this up. I want you to show me how you can make your body look like a letter Y while you are balancing. So that means you're trying to hold as still as you can, be as strong, as sturdy as you can. Okay, so some of you might look like this. I'm a letter Y. I'm nice and sturdy. I'm not wiggling all over. I'm not like a tree blowing in the wind. I'm strong. There's no wind here today. It can't blow me. I'm strong. Good. How do I make this a little bit harder? Maybe I pick 1 foot up, so I now have a 1-point balance. Ooh, that's pretty tricky. Try to hold still. Now I'm going to tell you a secret before we move on to our next balance challenge. A secret to help you balance. And I know that's hard because you're watching me on the video right now. But when I tell you the next letter, if you're trying to balance on your feet or something is tricky, I want you to find a spot. So for example, in the gym, if you look behind me, we have our Coach Cardinal here on the wall. When I balance, if I turn so he's in front of me, and I focus on him because he's not moving, pick something on the wall. If you're in your house, find a picture on the wall. Okay? Look at something that's not moving. Okay, and that's what you want to focus on when you balance. And that will help you balance. Okay, so it takes some practice, but it's good to challenge yourself. But also remember, we mentioned in this slide when we were talking about balance, that if I lose my balance, I just put my foot down and catch myself. I don't need to fall to the floor. Okay, so if you feel you're losing your balance, just put your foot down and start over. All right, because we're going to do some counting while we practice balance moves. All right, let's see what letter. I'm going to try to find a tricky one. Are you ready? Who can tell me what letter I have here? C. Excellent. Can you name a word that starts with the letter C? Cat. Very good. Cat starts with C, and there's lots of other words. Whose name starts with the letter C? Oh, I have a lot of friends who have their name start with the letter C. Now I want you to show me how you make your body the letter C. Be creative. Maybe you can do it standing. Maybe you want to sit down. Maybe you want to lay down. But I don't want to see you just go like this. I want you to use your whole body. I can make the letter C with my hand, but I want to see you use your whole body. So maybe some of you chose to sit down and make the letter C. Excellent. And you have to balance there. This one was a little bit easier because my base support was bigger. I was sitting down and my whole legs were on the floor. So that made it a little bit easier to balance. Now let's go to the letter I. Good. This is a capital I, or you can be a lowercase I. So I can stand here tall. We talked about how to make this harder. Try to balance on your favorite foot, your dominant foot, or make it even harder, try the other foot. Good. Remember to focus on that spot. So I'm looking, there's a chair behind my computer. I'm looking at that chair to help me balance. And let's see who can count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, if I lose my balance, I just put my foot down. That's okay. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great job. Oh, let's try the letter N. So we have a capital N here. Let's see who can make the letter N with their body. I'll hold it up so you can look at it. See if you can make your body look like this letter. And oh, I see some of you are sitting down trying to make the letter N. Good job. You can stand up and try to make the letter N. If you're having trouble, look back at this letter. Excellent job. We're going to do a couple more letters to practice our balancing. Oh, who can tell me this letter? It's a V. Awesome. V for volcano. Let's see who can make their body into a letter V. This one could be a tricky one to balance on. So I see a lot of my friends chose to sit down for this one. And this one we have to use your muscles for, because I'm going to hold my arms up, and then I'm going to try to pick my legs up. This is also the boat pose in yoga, to hold your muscles and balance here on just your bottom. Great job. So not only do we have to practice balance, there's a lot of moves that require us to use what we call our muscular endurance. Can you say muscular endurance? I want you to repeat after me. Muscular endurance. That means I'm using my muscles, like I was just using my muscles to help me hold this letter V. And it's kind of tricky. A little bit easier to be this way, and I can do my letter V here. But I'm using my muscles to help me balance here. Excellent job, friends. And move a little closer so you can see my letter. What do I have? X. Show me an X. Can you do an X standing up? Maybe you look like this. Strong muscles. Stand nice and sturdy. If the wind was coming through, could it blow you over? Are you so strong it's not going to move you? Now let's see, can you make an X laying down? That's probably a little bit easier to balance. You don't have to necessarily use your muscles as much because you're laying down. More of you is touching the floor. And now I want you to think, what is the first letter of your first name? So my first name is Corey, and it starts with a K. So I'm going to try to make a K with my body. Can you make the first letter of your first name? Let's see. So mine, I could make a K. Let's see you make the first letter of your first name in balance. And let's try to count to 50 by 5s. Are you ready? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Awesome job, boys and girls. Way to use those muscles in balance. We're going to do one more. I want you to pick whatever letter you want to make. Pick a letter. Tell me what that letter is. Let me hear you say your letter. And show me how you can make that letter with your body. Let me see your best letters. And show me how you can hold it nice and still. I'm going to pick a P. So I'm going to make my letter P and hold it nice and still. And come on up. So who can tell me, when we were making our letters, what was that word that we were working on today? We were practicing balancing. Good. Balancing means we're using our muscles to hold a position. Okay, nice and strong, so we're not wiggling all over and not falling over. Great job today, boys and girls. Stay tuned. We're going to move on to your cool down stretches next.